There we go. Hi, Jenny.
Hey, Sandy. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Thrive Online Business Lessons for Wellness Creators. And in this brand new series, we are going to be talking about frequently asked questions that we receive as the co founders of Marvelous and as two women building businesses on the internet for the last 10 years. So, we want these to be short, actionable tips here for you that you can have something and have your question answered or have something that's actionable to take away at the end of each one of these. And these are going to be quick, to the point, and answering your specific needs as wellness creators.
Amazing. So today's question is, if I'm using Marvelous, do I need a website?
So this is a very commonly asked question for folks who are thinking about coming and teaching online at Marvelous, or who are used to having a business in the offline world and not used to having an online business where they're teaching virtual sessions or courses or things like that. And I think the answer is it depends, right? Just like anything. We tend to recommend that you have a separate website if you are a blogger. So if you're posting content on a blog on a regular basis, you don't want to use an online teaching platform for that. It's not optimized for it. So if you think about the online tools in your toolbox, you want to make sure that they're really optimized for your most important use case. So if you are really looking to build a business as a blogger, you should absolutely have a tool in your toolbox that is optimized for blogging, that's going to have advanced features, that's going to be really focused on serving you with really easy to create interface that's optimized for that particular act.
Right. So I think if we go back to if you are a beginner, because most people start their businesses, the first thing they do is they go create a website, right? And they have this website, and then they're like, oh, I want to sell membership. And so then they'll join Marvelous to get create an account on Marvelous. And now they've got these two things. And it's like,
Yeah.
do I need them? So the beginner doesn't necessarily need that. You can do so much on Marvelous without a website, right? And I get the question, because we don't want to have 100 different softwares and software to use and logins everywhere. So it is nice in the beginning just to have as lowest cost as possible. So Jenny, tell everyone, for a beginner, what they can do on Marvelous.
Yeah, just quickly before I dive into that, I do want to say that some of you will never need a quote unquote website. You will never need that. So, largely in the online space, it's now 2024. We're recording this in early 2024. Many creators, like some of the biggest YouTubers and podcasters that you've heard of, they don't actually have a website. Many of them are using a link in bio tool like Marvelous Bio or another link in bio tool. They're almost always free. And that's a place where you can kind of send people to a link, right, from Instagram or from YouTube or wherever. And that's going to have a link to how to work with you. It's going to have a link to your favorite free content you've made. Like what people typically thought of as a website early on in the online world has now largely been replaced by these free link in bio tools. So that's where I would start first if you're brand new to the internet and building a presence for yourself. You don't need to pay for anything. Now, as you said, Sandy, when someone's like, okay, I've started making some content and I'm ready to teach something online and monetize myself, then that's the time to upgrade to a tool like Marvelous. We absolutely think Marvelous is the best online creator platform, especially for those of you in wellness. And start with what makes sense, right? So we have a plan called the Essentials Plan that is great for those of you just getting started. You can have videos on the platform. You can run events on the platform. You can sell digital e-products. You can sell memberships, kind of all of,
Courses.
like all the kind of normal things you would think of it as being an online business. And then our solo plan has, for those of you that are a single person business, you're not teaching with other people, that has everything that you would ever need for the most part. In 99% of the cases, our solo plan will have you covered for the duration and the life of your business. So again, going back to the question you asked, Sandy, that we just see over and over, the only reason you need a website, which is a blogging platform, a content management platform, is if you're blogging. So if you're podcasting, or if you're YouTubing, or if you're, posting prolifically on X or on Instagram, and you just want to then sell something to the people you've gathered around you, you don't need a website. It's kind of a vanity thing. It's a thing if that sounds fun to you and you just kind of want to build out a website for yourself, like it's a great way to learn some basic tech skills, but it's certainly not necessary. And I'm continuously kind of amazed by some people who have really large followings on social media or on platforms like YouTube that actually have no dedicated website. So I think that in a way, websites are kind of passe. They're a different business model than what most of you are looking for.
Mhm. I think you would want to build your own website if you were really like wanted really a lot of control on the design, right? Like
Yeah.
you had some, you weren't happy with just out of the box or standard stuff. If you wanted some kind of complex, custom design, that would be
Yeah.
something like you said, blogging or podcasting. But really, I think what the beginners get confused about, Jenny, is like the sort of front end, the sort of public facing information about
Yeah.
themselves versus the back end, which is gated and for paid community or paid clients only, right?
Yeah.
Marvelous started as just the back end where you would link from a website, come buy my stuff, and you go over to Marvelous to checkout pages. But it's evolved over the last 8-9 years that now you can do both. You can have a public facing presence plus checkout pages where they buy and they can get into the content or the course or the membership or coaching or whatever it is. So I think that's where they get a little bit confused is like, is it a website? Is it not? And I think website's just too big of a word.
I agree. That's why I think it's like a term that's passe. Like, what do you mean by that? Because you can go sign up right now for a link in bio page with us
Yeah.
or with other people, and it effectively serves the purpose of what a website did 10 years ago, right? Other than a couple of these smaller features that most people don't need. So I think, and even for bloggers, I also want to give this caveat. I started my first blog in 2010. I've been in this world for a long time. I spend a lot of time with writers and bloggers, and I know so many big bloggers who have been kind of like thought leaders and industry leaders over the last decade plus, have even closed down their own blogs and are now just writing exclusively on Substack. We've seen
Yeah,
that
that's a
migration
huge
happen
change. Yeah.
over
Mhm.
the last 18 months because just the way it's kind of like old fashioned blogging in a way where you didn't have to focus on design and the platform and like making sure you're running updates or whatever. You were focused on the writing part of blogging.
Mhm.
So no shade on websites or web designers. They certainly serve their purpose. And um, I think their purpose at this point is largely vanity, which is really important to some people. So I think you
Mhm.
have to think about what really matters. But if you are early in your business, you want to focus on things that are going to make you money and build you an audience. Like those are the two places you should really invest your time and money. And a website is probably not worth the expense and the time
Mhm.
for almost all of you. So it's kind of like an ego thing. And I like to think like business and entrepreneurship is just a constant chance to check yourself and check your ego and try to see, am I making decisions because, out of vanity or for my ego, or am I making decisions because this is a smart move for my business? And like start to really think through the reasonings that you're even asking the question.
Right. I was just thinking another reason that people will build a website is because they want checkout pages for each of the things that they sell. And now Marvelous has the most beautiful customizable checkout pages, right? And so that
Sales
was
sales pages. Yeah,
sales
sales pages.
sales
Yeah,
pages. There's
yes. I mean, yes. So, like, again, I think that we are kind of like spiraling or going full circle more towards the early days of the internet. Like that's what I hope for. That's what a lot of us are dreaming of. Away from these like very extravagant long form, highly like
sales
curated,
pages.
expensive sales pages. Like I love the idea that you can use Marvelous Magic Pages and have something drafted and designed for you in a couple of minutes with literally the click of a button. Like it's about serving your people. It's not about like kind of I don't know, like propping yourself and your brand up the way that it maybe was like 4 or 5 years ago, 3 years ago at the height of this complicated internet marketing kind of trend. So less complicated, less expensive, less time intensive. those are the kinds of things you want to be thinking about. And you certainly don't need a lot of time or money to get started, because the technology like Marvelous has evolved such that it's really plug and play. Like, we are bloggers, we are coaches, we are course creators. We are making tools that are optimized for those use cases. So you get the benefit of having those tools out of the box that didn't exist when we got started, right? Like, when we built our first membership site, we had to buy gaming software, like gaming content management, like forum software, and like code it ourselves to build our first community. Like, that gives you a sense of how far things have evolved in the last decade.
Yeah. The
Just
good old
saying.
days. Yeah, no,
Good old days.
it's really, yeah, it's really amazing
Yeah.
what Marvelous can do. So, all right, any other points to make on websites?
No, I think that's it on websites, but just stay tuned. We're going to be releasing these little nuggets of wisdom, at least weekly for all of you. So stay tuned. There's going to be more advice and quick tips coming your way. And happy 2024.
Thanks, Jenny. Bye,
Thanks,
everyone.
Sandy.